Hey guys, coming at you today with a part 2 to an old video from 2020 for some delicious keto sweet and spiced nuts. I figured out 2 new recipes and I'm gonna make an old favorite of my family's because I'm making these for Christmas gifts again. So let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, thanks for joining me. My name's Alicia, I'm a pastry chef with a sweet tooth, and now I own a keto gluten-free bakery, and I'm here to show you all the tips and tricks on how to make the best recipes possible. So if you enjoy my recipes, please hit the subscribe button down there, give the video a thumbs up, leave me comments, and share with all your friends and family. I'll be very happy you did. It all helps me and my bakery, my channel grow and bring you new videos every Saturday, and some bonus videos. Today, one of my favorite things to do for gifts, mainly because it's super easy to make a bunch of different flavors and they don't take a ton of time because you can make big batches at a time. But these are also just a delicious snack to change things up. Like I used to love getting like the Blue Diamond, different spiced nuts and stuff before going keto. And a lot of those unfortunately have like maltodextrin and stuff like that in them. So now I like to make my own flavored nuts to have with my charcuterie boards or just, a snack to have during the day or camping. They're a great thing to have on hand. So today we're going to be making a ranch almond, a peanut butter toffee, and a family favorite, caramel latte hazelnuts. So let's get into these super simple recipes. So we'll start out with the ranch almond. I already have my oven preheated to 300 because these really don't take long to throw together at all. And the main thing you need for this is my ranch seasoning mix. So I'll link that up there for you. This is something I've been going through it like crazy, mainly because I have a toddler. I always have some on hand. I put it on some chicken thighs when I want something different for dinner. Obviously I make my ranch dressing. I have a couple other dips you can make with it, a cheese ball, a bunch of different things. So now we're gonna make some spiced ranch almonds with it. Like I said, all these recipes are very easy. I don't even know why I have my scale out here because you don't need it. A lot of the times when I make spiced and candied nuts, I don't even measure anything. It's just more of a technique and you can make a bunch of different flavors. But I did measure this so that it had enough flavor on those almonds. The biggest thing with my ranch seasoning mix, you want to make sure to stir it up before you use it. Because I found that with our salts, a lot of times because we're not using iodized table salt, it's bigger granules and it tends to sink to the bottom of the mix. So I always suggest giving it a good stir before you use it. We need 3 tablespoons of our ranch seasoning mix, 1 teaspoon of allulose. You can probably use a different sweetener or you can just use a tiny bit of stevia, but there is some sugar in the bottled ranch dressing you get at the store. So I feel like it needed a little bit of sweetness, in there. And allulose is only 70% as sweet as sugar. Also in ranch dressing is vinegar, so we're gonna add some vinegar to this. Mix that together a little bit. We need 1 tablespoon of vinegar. Whoop, I thought I opened it, I didn't. Whoop, oh no. And just with most of my recipes for candied nuts, I just do usually water and sugar or water and my powder. So I'm gonna do 1 tablespoon of water. And then the only other thing is some additional salt because these aren't salted or anything. So 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna mix that all together. It's gonna make a paste. And just because I don't want to dirty measuring cups, I do 2 cups of almonds or 8 ounces. There is xanthan gum in my ranch mix, so I think that helps it be kind of gloopy and stick to the almonds. There we go. Mix them all up. All nice and coated. Nice. Then I just like using silicone mats, but you can use parchment paper also. Put that on and spread them out in an even layer. Make sure you get all of the ranch goop out of there. It smells so good. Now you can do probably double that on a half sheet pan and that'll fill up a couple of jars for gifts or just be a nice snack for a week or 2. Definitely a nice thing to have for New Year's as a snack. My mom always did a big like buffet snack. We didn't get the pre-made like frozen snacky appetizer things often, but New Year's we always did. And she always had the shrimp cocktail. We always had the meat and cheese too. This with that would have been really delicious. So I'm gonna pop this in a 300-degree oven, 10 minutes, give them a stir, another 6, and they should be done. But I just say, just always keep an eye on them because everybody's ovens are different. Okay, let's give them a toss. So I kept my bowl and spatula here. I want these just nice and dried up. So I'm gonna set it for another 6 and give them a check. They might be done. I want them nice and dry. Make sure they're all one even layer. Back in the oven. Okay, 6 minutes is up. Might need a little bit longer. They're almost there though. They're a little bit wet still. So I'm gonna give it 4 more minutes and they should be done. Okay, I can definitely smell them. So I think they are good to go. They are nice and dry now. Put these on the cooling rack and we'll get on to the next nut recipe. Okay, next up is a butter toffee peanut. You can do this with any nut though. I just happen to have a lot of peanuts on hand because I was trying to make peanut brittle and I bought big cans at BJ's to figure that out, and I made a couple batches of that and they didn't turn out right for Christmas. So that's going to be tabled again until next year. But this took a lot of trial and error. I kept trying to do allulose because I have a toffee recipe with allulose, but allulose is so tricky. I'm sure you can probably do my toffee recipe and put in a bunch of peanuts and coat them up and put them on a pan and break them up into pieces. But allulose tends to get sticky still, not in the refrigerator. So I just ended up scrapping the idea of using allulose and doing my usual monk fruit erythritol blend with just some butter, salt, and I threw in some butter rum extract. So I'm going to do a 2-cup batch of peanuts. We need a 1/2 cup of a golden erythritol sweetener. Ooh, maybe I'll use this one. So I have this packable one. For the test, I used the Duralife granular brown sweetener, but this one is more brown sugar-like, so I'm wondering if this will be better. We'll see. It'll be a test. So 1/2 cup. Should probably pack it in there. I'm going to do weight measurements just to be safe, but see what this is. It's pretty close, 96. It was 4 grams over. And then we need 4 tablespoons of butter, which I just weighed out, but you can just do a 1/2 stick of butter. Now, I just followed a regular recipe. It called for corn syrup, and it said to cook it on the stove. I don't think that's really necessary to get the sugar all melted, because our sugar melts in the oven just fine. So I'm gonna do it differently this time, because if I don't have to dirty a pot, I don't want to dirty a pot. So 4 tablespoons or 56 grams of butter, and I'm just gonna melt it in the microwave. Whoop, totally missed melting that. I'm gonna add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt to this. I do have roasted salted peanuts and I'm using salted butter. The recipe called for all of this. So salted butter, the roasted nuts, and some more salt. So I tasted it and it tasted delicious. So I'm gonna stick with it. 1/4 teaspoon, and I'm going to use a 1/2 teaspoon of butter rum extract. They also sell butter extract, which I think would work well too. It just gives a little bit more buttery flavor, I think. Then pour in your melted butter. And then 2 cups of peanuts, or 8 ounces. I'm just going to dump it. I looked up a bunch of different butter toffee nut recipes. Some called for cinnamon too, so if you want to put cinnamon in, you can. But it's just like that. This took 30 minutes in my oven, so at 300 degrees. We'll pour this on our sheet tray. And we're just gonna stir that every 10 minutes until it coats all the nuts and gets crystally. The nice thing about erythritol, it crystallizes and gets crunchy. Allulose, you need to bring it up to a specific temperature in order for it to be at hard crack stage. So I kept doing it, and either I take it too far and it tastes bitter, or I didn't take it far enough and it didn't really get hard crack. They're still delicious. I did these 2 batches here, and I ended up just coating them in a little bit of the granular erythritol, and they're nice and crunchy and not bitter. but without adding the granular, it was still kind of soft. It wasn't like hard crunchy. So you can use allulose, but I suggest before they completely cool, tossing them in a little bit of granular sweetener. If you don't, I have these that I think I'm gonna coat in chocolate. These I didn't take far enough, so it's basically like a hard caramel on the outside, which is kind of nice. Basically, it looks like a candy center, and it's like a chewy caramel on the outside. So the allulose gives you something delicious, just not quite butter toffee. 10 minutes, stir it, 10 minutes, stir it, 10 minutes. We'll see all that in quick succession, and we'll get on to the next recipe. Okay, as you saw there, it's been in 20 minutes, it's been another 5. So we got about 5 more minutes until they're done. But we're gonna get on to the next recipe, which is definitely one of my family's favorite nut recipe that I make. And I don't actually have a recipe for it. I'm just gonna kind of wing it like I normally do, but it's a caramel latte. So basically I use this instant Medaglia d'Oro espresso powder, caramel extract, and sweetener. And that's about it. A lot of times I do cashews, but I also really enjoy using the hazelnuts. These will be linked below. Most of the other nuts I got at BJ's or big box store, which is definitely the cheapest. They don't have hazelnuts at BJ's, so I got these online, but they're completely blanched, skins are off and everything, so they're ready to go. I'll measure this out for you, but like I said, I don't normally measure, so I just do some water. I'll start with 2 ounces, 56 grams or a quarter cup. Add in some espresso powder. You want to make this nice and strong. Start with a half tablespoon and see how that goes. I'll do a whole tablespoon, I think. I'm just gonna use a granular monk fruit erythritol blend. I'll start with a half cup, but I might add more. I just kind of look for the right consistency. And I think I'll need a little bit more. So I'm just gonna measure it out by weight because I know it weighs 72 grams. No, 96, 144. That's what I meant. So it's 3/4 of a cup. That looks about right. And then I have caramel extract. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of that in. At this point you can taste it kind of for flavor. Caramely. I don't get a lot of the coffee though. Just a little bit of coffee in there. So I might add another half tablespoon. Just in time. Our peanuts are going off. Set that aside for now. Okay, so now these should be good to go. Whatever you do, do not touch this syrup. I accidentally got some on my towel and then touched my towel. It was really hot. So be careful with that. But as it cools down, it'll start recrystallizing and we can coat the peanuts as they cool. I'm just gonna set it here for now and keep stirring it and change my battery pack because it's about to die. Get thick as it cools down. I didn't exactly have my silk pad on there even. Now that it's getting thicker and they're all kind of in the pool, we'll let it cool some more over here and we'll give it a stir like every couple of minutes or so. And we'll put our hazelnuts in here. Get another taste. Now you get a little bit of bitter coffee and the caramel. I am gonna add a little bit of salt just because these are blanched and not salted at all. And salt always brings out sweetness and flavor. I'm gonna start with a half teaspoon, but I might do a full teaspoon. Tastes good. And this is something you can do with regular sugar. Literally just swap out the erythritol. I'm gonna have to do some of those because my poor mom can't have any keto sweeteners now. Bummer. Starting to crystallize over here. You want to get all that coated on the peanuts as it crystallizes. So at this point, when it's all starting to harden, you want to definitely keep stirring it so that it coats all the peanuts. And that yummy, buttery sugarness. Sweetenerish. Sweetenerish? Sweetness. Well, I usually just make a big batch at a time because same amount of work for a small batch as it is for a big batch. My hand was starting to hurt. Now they're mostly coated. Let them cool completely, and then you're gonna break them apart. We'll taste them at the end. Okay, might add another 1/4 cup to this. You want it kind of a thick paste. So another 48 grams. This will do quite a few hazelnuts, I think. There we go. We'll start with 8 ounces. We'll see. Yeah, I think we can do another cup. As long as they're all still pretty much coated, there's a lot in the bottom still, you can add more nuts. 4 cups, 1 pound of hazelnuts in there. Sorry if you don't like my Silk Pap, but my spider one has a cut in it, so I don't want to use it for this. Nice and evenly coated. Get all of the sweetener on there. And we're gonna do the exact same thing. Every 10 minutes, we're gonna smush them around a little bit until the sugar or sweetener starts to caramelize or crystallize. And they'll be good to go into the oven. These caramel latte nuts smell amazing already, and it's only been 10 minutes. I'm excited to eat more of these. We're just gonna do the same thing, mix them all up. Another 10 minutes. All that sweetener melted. Excited. Oh, they smell so good. I'm gonna set it for another 10 minutes. Now, you learned it here first. Apparently, using that packable brown sugar makes them not coat as nice. I mean, they still taste delicious, like these big clumps that are here. Butter and sugar, but it didn't coat the nuts as good. This is how they turned out with the Duralife Golden Mumford Erythritol sweetener. They coated a lot nicer and way less grainy. So don't use the packable brown sugar. Although I can't speak for all keto packable brown sugar substitutes because they all use different ingredients. So that's what makes my job really difficult, is every brand and type of sweetener all acts differently. They all have different ingredients in them. So very often you can't just swap one thing for another because they always act differently in different applications. So another problem we face with making keto recipes. It's been another 10 minutes. It's smelling so good. Starting to crystallize in the middle. Make sure they're all coated. Okay, 10 more minutes and then we'll stir and coat as it cools. Okay, there's about 2 minutes left. I think they're good to go, so I'm gonna pull them out. My spatula is completely covered in the caramelized sugar. It'll be good. As they cool, you just give them a toss. Just really time it. You let it cool for 5 minutes and then start tossing. For once, I'm bringing you a recipe that I haven't tested to death. It's one that I throw together every couple of years. Last year I did hot cocoa bombs. This year I opted for something a little bit easier because this year was crazy. Oh, shake, shake. Delicious. Coffee caramel goo is getting stiff. Get on there. Okay. Once they're pretty much all coated and there's no more goo left, I let them cool completely. You get to try them. Shake, shake, shake. While those are chilling, you can try the ranch ones. They're nice and crunchy on the outside. I love ranch. Salty, herby, tiny hint of vinegar. So good. I love snacking on nuts. I'll have these linked below. Have them in nice Christmas gift bags for people for Christmas time. Delicious for a meat and cheese tray. Yummy. Butter toffee peanuts, I gotta go in a jar. Nice and crispy. So these were done with this granular brown monk fruit erythritol sweetener. So I'll have it linked down below. And they're perfectly crunchy. Salty, sweet, buttery. They're delicious. These are still a little bit warm. Want to taste one now, but I'm going to refrain. Let them cool completely. Okay, can't wait any longer. I've been snacking on them secretly. Shh. They're so good. I never realized how fruity hazelnuts are. So it's kind of interesting with the caramel and coffee. Cashews, I think, probably lend themselves the best to this version, but they're still really good. I'm definitely not gonna not eat them. Well, these aren't for me. Bummer. I'll have to make some just specifically for myself. They're so good. Coffee, caramel, sweet, a little bit salty. What's that, fruity from the hazelnut? It's definitely delicious. So good. I hope you guys enjoy this recipe and try it out for yourself. Fortunately, I'm probably not gonna have this up in time for Christmas, but if you have late Christmas gifts to give people, you can try out some of these recipes, or just for your New Year's Eve party to have with your charcuterie board. It'll be delicious. Or just to help you stay on track for the new year. Let me know what flavors you plan on creating with my base recipe. Let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to check out my Amazon shop page. The link will be down in the description box below. With all the stuff I used here that I got on Amazon, give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. As always, I'll be back with many more keto, low carb, healthy meals, desserts, and snack recipes. Bye guys. Happy keto baking and candy nut making.